Hi everybody, it is the 12th of January 2023 and update 21.2 has just dropped onto the PUBG test server for PC. Won't be coming to console for a little bit, but I thought what we'd do is, as usual, we'll go through the patch notes, see what's coming up, and maybe share a few thoughts about the best Battle Royale. Okay, let's go. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below the video so you can click through, because there is a nice little summary video that explains things very well and probably more succinctly than I can. So timescales. So this update will be coming to PC between the 17th and 18th of January, depending on your time zone, and it will be coming to console between the 25th to the 26th of January, again depending on the time zone you're in. And then when we go live, let's have a look. So they're saying they're still going with Vikendi, but so let's read. That's for PC. Looks like on console they're going with a fully, so the map rotation looks like on console it'll be Aaron Gilmer and Martego Sanok with almost a 50% chance of getting Vikendi every time, and on PC they're going to keep Vikendi as a featured map. So we'll see what happens. Dev's comment, here we go. Vikendi has been available as a featured map since its first introduction back in 21.1. The featured map queue was sustained to allow players to enjoy our Winter Wonderland whenever they wished, but at the same time we received continuous reports from certain regions on issues with normal matchmakings. We looked into matchmaking data and map usage rates based on these reports and proceeded to internal discussions. In conclusion, we decided it would be best to prioritise active queues for a better gameplay experience for every player. Therefore, the featured map will be taken down from regions with random map selections starting with the 21.2 live update. Alright, so that answers the question. Featured map going away. The maps will just be mixed in together. Instead, Vikendi will be added to the normal match pool with an increased matching rate of 40%, so players will still be able to meet and play Vikendi more often. There are even more new updates for Vikendi this 21.2, so we encourage you to try them out and leave us your feedback as always. Okay, so in Vikendi, what is coming and what you'll be able to play on the PC test server right now is the Blizzard Zone. There is like a snownado. Okay, at some point within the howling devastation of snow, a severe snowstorm accompanied by whistling winds begin to ravage the silent ground. Dare to step into the whipping storm and you shall face pure numbness to your senses. Welcome to the Blizzard Zone. Once you enter the Blizzard Zone, you will move slower, you will receive consistent damage per second, your sight and sound play will be hindered, vehicle control will be harder. A Blizzard Zone warning message along with its activated area UI on the world map will show up on your screen during the match. Kill messages for the Blizzard Zone have been added. Available in normal matches and custom matches. Available in Vikendi only. Okay, so where's the... So that's Vikendi. Oh, right, there we go. There it is. There's the Blizzard Zone down in the bottom left-hand corner, like a tornado, like a mini hurricane coming across the map. Dev's comment. The first Blizzard Zone is now available this update. This Vikendi exclusive zone has been designed based on the other map's red-black zones features, activation phase and location, duration, size, damage, affected gameplay aspects, effect range and more. Watch out, the Blizzard Zone will definitely tattoo your health, movement speed, sound play and vision, so make sure to duck out the hazard zone as soon as possible. Do they say it moves? They don't say whether it moves. You would expect it to move, but perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps it just appears, like they're saying, just like the red zone appears, or the black zone appears on that little map. Yeah, interesting. Oh, there's two. There's one in there as well. All right, I guess they probably don't. They probably don't move. They probably just appear in one location, don't they? And if if that's on your way to the circle or where you want to go, you've got to decide what tactic you're going to use to go through it or go around it. Or I guess in the final circuit. They don't say whether it appears in the final circuits, do they? It's one of those things where I guess we'll really just have to play it and see what happens. I'm not a big fan, and I know lots of people aren't big fans of adding more RNG, random number generation, into a Battle Royale. Purely because the games last so long, And if that RNG causes you to die, you're like, oh, great. Like say through no fault of your own, you're driving along, the red zone appears, and you get hit by a shell and you die. Say 15 minutes into a game. I know you do get a bit of warning, but it sucks a bit, doesn't it? You're like, oh, that was a bit crap. You haven't been killed by another player. And like the black zone on the little island, where you go for cover inside a building, the black zone appears and you've got to move. And that extra bit of RNG sometimes can feel unfair. So that's why I think sometimes these ideas, I'm not sure whether they add much to the game. And it's up for debate. I think in respawn shooters, for example, like where Battlefield has the tornadoes that come in Battlefield 2042, they're quite effective, because if it kills you, it doesn't really matter, because you can respawn in 5 seconds, can't you? But we'll have to look. We'll have to see. Any improvements to Vikendi are welcome by me. I wish they'd just put it back to the original Vikendi that we had when it first came out, but I guess that's probably not going to happen. Right, keep going. Secret room. Scour deeply in the snow and perhaps you'll stumble upon a secret room full of high-tier items. Secret rooms holding valuable items are scattered throughout the map. Obtain the world spawn item security key to open a secret room. Available in normal matches and custom matches. Available on Vikendi only. Devs comment: land your hands on items you won't be able to casually find on the map. Here's a tip. As the risks are relatively high when you wish to get back out of the secret room, we've installed something handy inside, so try to find and use it for a safer getaway. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. I wonder if it's a vehicle. Something, I don't know. Repair kits. Now this is good. So there we have an armor repair kit, there we have a vehicle repair kit, there we have a helmet repair kit. Have you damaged your hard-earned armor or vehicle? No worries, the 3 new repair kits have arrived to save the match. 3 repair kits have been added. Helmet repair kit repairs a helmet to full health. Armor repair kit repairs armor to full health. Mechanic's toolbox repairs 500 health for vehicles. Can only be used while inside the vehicle. More than one player can simultaneously repair a single vehicle. However, repairs will be instantly cancelled once the vehicle is fully repaired. Repair kits cannot be used on destroyed helmets, armor, or vehicles. Repair kits are consumable items. Repair kits will world spawn with a relatively low spawn rate, available in normal matches and custom matches. Available in Vikendi only. Repair kits have been added to custom match sandbox mode. Now this is interesting. These are interesting because one of the problems that battle royales have is when you have things like armor and you have helmets, it could be seen that you get penalized for getting involved in gunfights and winning gunfights, because during a gunfight you'll probably get hit by a couple of bullets and that damages your armor. So if you get involved in lots of gunfights on the way to the final circle, although you've been a really active player, you might well come across someone who's just been playing very stealthily and hasn't got involved in any gunfights, and therefore has a full armor on helmet and jacket, and they've got the advantage. And when you're in a 50-50 fight, the person with the most armor wins normally, don't they? And so that encourages very stealthy play, which isn't always that much fun. I mean, I know I play that way, but I know lots of people don't like playing that way, especially in PUBG, which is such a long game. Where having these in the game, it means that you can have one of these in your backpack, engage in those gunfights, not worry about your armor getting damaged, because you'll be able to repair it in the final circle. Now I know there's lots of armor and helmets around, isn't there? But especially if you've picked up a level 3 helmet and level 3 armor, you may well want to hang on to that, until you get into the final circles where there's no time to loot. We've all been in that situation where you've been in a firefight and your helmet's gone. And then you've got to make the decision: do you take the risky option of trying to loot this other player, and their helmet might almost be destroyed anyway, while you're out in the open, and then you get third partied? Whereas if you had one of these helmet repair kits or armor repair kits, you could maybe use a smoke, repair your stuff, and then be on your way. The caveat to this, though, is how fast these things work. Because hopefully they work fairly slowly, because what you don't want to be is so imagine you're in a 1v1 final circle situation, and you say you've got a bolty, or actually it doesn't really matter, but say you're both hiding behind trees and you both haven't got any grenades left to lob at each other, and there's no smokes or anything, you're just shooting at each other. You don't want a situation where you get a skillful headshot into someone and you go excellent, and so, or into their armor, and you go excellent, and then you choose to rush them, but in the time that it takes for you to rush them, they use an armor repair kit or a helmet repair kit on their armor, so that you have no advantage when they pop out behind the tree again. That's what you don't want to happen, because one of the things that we kind of rely on when you're rushing other players is the knowledge that when you've hit them a few times, they're going to be low on health and their armor's going to be broken, or virtually gone, and so it is worth taking that risk of rushing them. But if you're not sure whether they're going to be able to repair before you get there, that puts a question mark over that sort of style, doesn't it? So again, like everything, we're going to have to go into game and we're going to have to see how much space do they take up in your inventory slots as well. But a very welcome addition to the game. I think this is a great idea. Never really thought about something like this, but yeah, really, really good idea. Multi-drops. The multi-drops that were only witnessed in Tego will now be falling from Vikendi skies as well. Multiple care packages holding high-tier weapons, armor, consumables, and more will be randomly dropped during a match. Available during normal matches and custom matches. Available in Vikendi only. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, they're impressive when they come down. Especially when you're playing solos, you come across one of these, you're good for the rest of the game. You get all the loot you ever want. The only thing I sometimes think is that, I guess in squads as well, if a squad takes one of these multiple drops, it enables that squad to become very, very powerful indeed, with lots of loot drop weapons and level 3 armor, level 3 helmets. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit in the end about how I feel about some of these things as well. Additional updates. Vikendi exclusive road signs that can navigate you through the snow have been added throughout the map. Interesting, they're in English. The unused cable car station has been removed from the northeast part of the Colmian. Item types have been updated and spawn spots have been increased in buildings with garages that can only be opened using crowbars. A few vehicles have been found to spawn overlapping with foliage or fences, so we have slightly moved their spawn points to a more open area. On Sanhok, we've reflected a bunch of player and internal feedback regarding gameplay in Sanhok. Ascenders have been added to cave and rock mountains. Ascender attachments provided as starting items. Yeah, good. That's great. The worst thing you can have, I think, in a battle royale is when you get into the final circles, and it's probably your fault, but you put yourself into a position where you can't physically get to where the circle's going to because of a geographical limitation, and this sometimes could happen in places like a cave. But having a sender there where you could zip up and get to the next section is great. An additional bridge connecting the Northwest Island and East Island boot camp has been added. Good. Looks like the rivers are much wider as well, don't they? An additional bridge connecting the Northwest Island and Southwest Island ruins has been added. Made the areas water deep. So they've gone back to deep water. It's funny how they flick backwards and forwards, isn't it? We had really shallow, not very wide rivers that were more like streams that you could just sort of almost sprint across. They changed that after the deep ones, and now they've gone back to bridges with deep ones. Sanhok themed billboards have been added throughout the map. Nice. Sand terrain has been added to certain areas for a more convenient trek. Nice. Added even more general cover, such as boulders and trees. Okay. Nice. Terrain and foliage texture have been generally improved. As we say goodbye to the end of year holidays, Christmas and New Year, line friends decorations all take the leave from paradise. Tego, additional boat spawn spots have been added to ranked. Gameplay, screen ping marker, a few improvements to the screen ping marker. Screen ping markers will automatically be deleted after 120 seconds. It used to be 30. A player screen ping marker will instantly be removed if they leave the match or lose connection. Report player. Previously, you were only able to report players who killed you or players you're spectating. Now you can report players who assisted in killing you. Click the report button located on the top of the desk screen. Select the assisted player. Good. Training mode. Pretty good at beating your friends in the 1v1 era. You can now show off your winning streak starting this update. Winning streaks at the 1v1 arena will now be recorded after the live server update. Map related user interface. Sorry about that, just had to go and answer the door to the postman. Where do we get to? Map name mode and perspective information have been added to the top left screen of the world map. This information will be removed once you board the plane. Lobby. Updated every map's mini-map image to the newest versions of the map selection page. Certain information being updated in career overview about ranked. Crafter Pass, Spring 1st 2023. A new Crafter Pass is prepared to host the first festival of the year. It's a Chinese New Year. Read more details on the upcoming January store update announcement. Added new progressive weapon skins. The special crafting Springfest tab will be available for crafting and using purchase Springfest 2023 materials until March. Performance, improved physics engine, optimized memory, console, increase the file reading speed on Xbox to improve in-game loading speeds, such as parachute use, starting, spectate, etc. Various bug fixes and other stuff. So there we go. Nice update. Now, one of the things that I really want to stress is that you probably know on the channel I don't upload that much PUBG content anymore because I upload a lot of DayZ content, but PUBG still stays in my heart 100%. And if I had more time, because obviously I work full time, got commitments at home as well, I would play more PUBG. And sometimes I don't want it to appear that when I do the PUBG patch reports, which I always do to try and keep up with the game, is that I don't want to feel negative. I probably come across a little bit negative about some of the things, but one of the things I think is very important to state about PUBG is that it is incredibly important and really good that the developers are still developing it. They're still bringing out new things and changes and additions and taking things away and mixing things up. Now, we might not always agree with these things, but it keeps the game churning along. And you've got to remember, what is it 5 years old now? Is it 5 years old now? 2017. Is it 5 years old now? Anyway, it's been out a long time for a video game to keep going. I know people saying PUBG's dead and all this sort of stuff, but if you look at the current concurrent players on Steam, there's still hundreds of thousands of people playing it. And I guess there's just as many people playing it on console as well. So although we might not have all the playlists available anymore, there's still lots of people playing. And yeah, and it's really good that the game is being pushed forward, I think. In the same way that like DayZ, another old game, an older game, it's really important and exciting that changes are being put into the game by the devs, even if we might not always agree with those changes. Because it means they've got the money and they've got the resources and the publisher is behind them to make these changes, to keep trying to push the game forward, to keep it alive. And what I'm really pleased about with PUBG is, apart from the very odd exception, they've largely kept to the vision of Brendan Green, player unknown at the start. Although we did have, and we have got that heartbeat scanner, haven't we? On, is it Tago? Is it? You can pick that up, which is a bit of a Call of Duty sort of thing. Everything else is still fairly, boots on the ground. Our kind of era, modern warfare era, maybe a little bit older kind of weapons. There's no UAVs or anything like that. It's down to gunplay and tactics and strategies and a lot of luck in order to win, and that should be applauded very, very much. So there we go. A few final thoughts about PUBG. Always remember, if you disagree with the changes that have been made, at least changes are being made to the game, which gives it a chance to thrive and survive. Anyway, that's enough from me. What do you think? Put any questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.